What is going on, YouTube? I am here with Captpan6. We're going to do an interview for y'all. How are you doing today, Cappan?
I'm doing pretty well. Yourself?
Very good, very good. So tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I am a 24-year-old living in New Jersey, currently in college last year,
All right.
studying radio and acting. And as you might have guessed, I also make YouTube poops on the side.
Where the name Captpan come from, anyway?
I was watching Peter Pan one time, and I was trying to find a username for a website, and I thought Captpan because first thing that came to my head. And 6 is my lucky number, so I attached it there.
In terms of YTP, you're undeniably popular. What do you attribute your fan base? What's your secret of success, would you say?
I just do what I like, what I find is funny. I don't try to push myself too hard because when I do that, I lose the fun in all of it. What I like to do is make what comes to me. If I look at a source and I like how it moves, how it sounds, how it runs, then I feel eager to make a video about it. So I'll pull it up and just hack at it. Simple as that.
So can you describe where you get these ideas for your YTPs, how you edit them in a video form, just where you get your creative process from?
It requires that I know a lot about popular media. If something is popular, it's easier to integrate into a poop because more people will know it, more people will understand the joke, and it does the work for me. Other times I'd have to try and craft the joke myself, and I can do this using all sorts of video editing. I could word splice, sentence mix, I can impose images, cut images, the whole 9 yards.
How do you think you've progressed from your older videos? Do you ever go back and rewatch your old work?
Some I do, some I don't. Some work in the past I'm very proud of. Other times when I look at a video, I'll see moments that are hard to watch because I can't believe I used this joke, I can't believe I didn't do this better, I can't believe I didn't leave this out. One of my biggest regrets is that I'll look at a video and wonder why I left this in when it should have been left out. Because some of my videos, they're very long, and they'll encroach the 10-minute mark, and I'm okay with a lot of the content, but there are sometimes bits, minutes or so that I wish I could have adjusted or fine-tuned some more. But overall, I'm very pleased with what I've done in the past because it's given me an understanding of how to use the tools that I've got and what sort of humor really works.
What, in your opinion, is your best poop? Tell us about it.
Best poop. It's hard to say because a lot of my favorites are in different styles. It's near impossible to compare. I like the dexterity of Haruhi Suzumiya because it was the first time. I think I made it immediately after I watched Haruhi, so a lot of the emotions I was feeling after watching Haruhi were with me in creating it. I also love the worst Sonic fanfiction ever because it had, in my personal opinion, some of the best punchlines. Best poop, favorite poop. It's very hard to say. Cock jokes is another one that I love because it was in my head for such a long time, and to be able to get it out, an entire joke, an entire poop surrounded by one joke, it is very difficult to say. I'd have to say it's one of those three, but if you ask me which one specifically, I can't answer that.
Yeah, it's good when you love the work you've done and you can't choose a favorite child, you know? That's
Yeah.
great. What have been your favorite sources to work with? What can you get the most jokes out of? Because you're definitely multi-talented with that. what comes to mind when I think of your sources are Volvic commercials, iCarly. What do you think are your best?
I can find jokes in Haruhi. I don't use it often anymore because my fan base doesn't always watch Haruhi, so they're unfamiliar with the show, and it creates this boundary between them and my poop. I love it when I make poops that are with familiar sources. Volvic has been dying over the years, unfortunately, but favorite sources to use would be, just in general, films that are widely known. Star Wars Episode 1 was widely known. Sonic 2006 was widely known. I think that my audience is who they are because they have grown up with a lot of this media. So they will know it firsthand when I poop it. I think a lot of people went to see the Digimon movie because they were Digimon fans. I think a lot of people who were into Star Wars looked back on Star Wars Episode 1, maybe out of curiosity or because they themselves saw it in theaters as well. And Sonic 06, Sonic is an incredibly popular franchise. It's no doubt been circulated all over the internet.
Are there any sources that you haven't worked with that you're currently on hiatus, but if you were to make a poop out of them, you'd say, hey, this might have some potential? Are there any sources like that?
I'm waiting on the Powerpuff Girls movie, as well as Metroid Other M. Those are poops I plan to make in the summer. But other works that I've looked at, I know there have been some, they just don't ring off the top of my head. Oh goodness. I've been thinking about Ben 10 a lot because it was a popular franchise that has been dying down, but it might invoke some nostalgia. The only trouble is I have to go out and find which episode works to my best advantage. Additionally, I've been thinking about the Sonic Boom show.
Yeah, I think Sonic Boom has a lot of potential. I mean, definitely not the game, but the show. It just so many things in it can be edited, of course. I can't wait to see Captpan6 Sonic Boom poop. What are your favorite effects to use in your poops?
I love superimposing images. I love inverting the colors. And I also love to swirl some things. And when I say swirl, for those of you who are unfamiliar with that technique, it's when I create this whirlpool effect in the picture. So someone's face would look like it would be being wrung out through a towel.
I've never heard it described like that before. Are there any running gags in your YouTube poops that you wish more people would catch?
Running gags. Running gags. I think Haruhi, in and of itself, is one of my running gags. I think my affinity for the show is well known amongst YouTube, but my fans see it more as a popular source than anything else. But I always try to make it a point to include Haruhi in some of my larger projects. There was a little bit of Haruhi in the Digimon poop, there was a little bit of Haruhi in Sonic and Star Wars. Some of the other jokes that I've used, I am more or less trying to contain in videos. Like in the last Digimon poop that I made several Digi-side jokes. And that's funny because it was in the Digimon poop, but if I were to remove that from the Digimon poop and insert it into another poop, then someone who never watched the Digimon poop might never get the joke. So oftentimes when I have a recurring joke, it's a recurring joke in the poop. But outside the poop, I have to say the use of Haruhi.
Captpan, I have the feeling that you like Haruhi. Is this true?
Yes, I do.
How long, on average, does it take you to make a video? Like, per minute of finished product, how long would that take you in editing?
Per minute, it takes many hours. I'm picky about what I like to put in. I think a lot about how jokes are framed and what to use and when. If something that I originally thought was going to work, I find out is not going to work, then I have to remove it, and that means I have to spend more time thinking of something to replace it with. So I'd say about 1 minute of content will take several hours, and these hours are never all in one day. I'll work on something over a period of days, dedicating maybe a half hour to 1 hour, working on just that one target minute.
Who are your favorite poopers, current poopers, retired poopers, whoever?
I still get a kick of Deeper Cut, as well as Walrus Sky and Cobra Productions. Other favorites I have, Chemistry Guy is very surreal in his poops, and I am very inspired by him as well. Another person I like is Quibi Jibby, because he can take something that has been long since overused and add freshness to it. And at the same time, he can make fun of that as well. On top of which, I love his running Africans joke for some odd reason. It always gets a kick out of me.
Do you think YTP has any artistic merit?
I think it depends on whether you're aiming for artistic merit. When I make poops, I make them for entertainment purposes, and in some perspective, yes, that can be called art because it's entertainment, and in some cases I see it as art, a brand new form that I can't specifically identify. But when I look at what the YouTube poop tennis community has done, it is an entirely different level. There are images that I love looking at because they move so well and they are so crisp, and the sounds associated with these images evoke some amazing reactions when I watch them. So I think that if there is artistry in YouTube poop, it's to be found in the tennis community, because they have created poops that I think are the closest to being portrayed in a gallery or in an art show.
Are there any aspects of YouTube poop as a whole that you just don't like?
The only time that I'll find something that I don't like in YouTube poop is when it's shameless. What I mean by that is if the person who made the poop is making it for purposes other than wanting to make stuff for the heck of it or maybe pleasing fans. If they're doing it just because they want to spite someone, then it's very difficult for me to respect that. There are some poops that I watch as well that have overused jokes, and when I say overused jokes, I mean things that have long been outdated or used to death. Sometimes that's hard for me to respect, but when I see something that is made out of spite or made with malice in mind, in other words, minus the fun, it's really hard to look at that and say, I like this.
Where do you see your YouTube channel in 5 years?
Hopefully still up.
I hope so, like Viacom doesn't take everything down, yeah.
I don't think I've used anything from Viacom aside from a pinch or two of SpongeBob, but even then, I doubt Viacom would find that. In 5 years, I expect the channel to be modestly more popular. I don't anticipate a surge of new subscribers, as my style, the type of style that I work with, is dying out, technically. A lot of people are gravitating toward what Emperor Lemon and guys like CS188 have done. And I could do that. It's very easy for me to do that. Not to mimic styles, but I could insert flashy effects. I could make a poop that has sentence mixing and just edits. But I like doing things my own way. Occasionally I'll make something in the style that closely resembles another person. But if I want to get popular, I want it to be because I did something my own way. And thankfully, a lot of my fans still appreciate the way I make poops. I think that if I am to get popular, it's going to be from having a tennis match with a very popular person.
Hey man, you know the world wants Captpan versus Walrus Guy, you know it. Let's
Well,
see.
he would outclass me.
Oh man, no. It's not about class, it's about having fun, you know?
It is. It's just he uses a very sophisticated Flash program, and he makes jokes in those poops that I could never dream of making because it would require a lot of very high precision detail. Like in his Arthur poop where he has DW cursing, punished for cursing I should say, he makes a lot of subtle jokes when the DW and the grandmother are walking by the stores. There's one that is labeled toys and shit, but you can't see the shit part because the IT has been, it's out of sight. But little things like that, Walrus Guy can spot. And when I look at a source, I don't look for things like that. So if we were tennis and it would be using his type of humor, he would outclass me.
Well, we can all just hope he hears this interview and considers it. What are your hobbies outside of YTP and video editing?
Baseball, I'm a New York Mets fan. I am an actor, but I also have a strong radio affinity. I'll play video games, I'll read mystery books, especially ones from Agatha Christie, and I'm a chess player that's been rated by the USCF.
How is your acting/voice acting career going?
I'm still in school. I haven't taken off yet, but as of right now, I'm not so certain that I want to focus on voice acting more than I want to focus on radio. Because radio is where I feel the most comfortable.
And this is the question I'm sure that everyone wants to know the answer to. How's the novel coming along?
Oh, the novel. Believe it or not, I am still pre-writing it because there are a lot of ideas that I had at first, but then as I was creating characters, I found out that they deserve an entire story. So I want to, before I begin on this first novel, construct this entire series behind it. If anything, I intend for there to be 5 or 6 books if I'm successful, but before I do that, I want there to be a real lore and history in my world. I want, when people read it, for it to feel authentic, like this is a place that exists, and these are people that I can understand. So before I even type a word, I want to get all of that done. And with school and work, it provides extra challenges, but I'm very committed to getting at least one novel done.
And it's been about 5 or 6 months now. Will you still come true on your promise to come back to the business after a year has passed from the Digimon poop?
I fully intend to. I have a lot of ideas in mind for what I want to do next, and I think that this hiatus and focusing on other things has allowed me to refresh my mind. Sometimes I would feel bogged down from overthinking things. I would look at a source and think, okay, I need to get this many jokes out of this much material, and that would create a lot of pressure that I did not need. But as long as I'm finding the fun in something, then I can go anywhere with it.
So, do you have any advice for new or aspiring poopers?
My advice would be, don't think that you can't start because you don't have high-tech equipment. A lot of my first videos were made with just simple Windows Movie Maker. If you have a computer, you can do whatever you want. Maybe not everything that you want, but you can certainly take something and make a great video out of it. So take what you like and get started.
So you're saying, poop this interview, poop this interview.
If they so desire, yes.
What do you have to say to everyone listening?
Thank you for listening. More videos on the way. Shout out to the community. Hope you have a nice day.
All right. Well, this has been an interview with Captpan. Dark Fox out.